Hello and welcome to Firestar TV, hosted by Mama C. And today I have Caveman. Welcome, Caveman.
Greetings, how are we? Manners and respect to one and all, how are we?
Greetings, greetings. Where are you calling from?
I'm actually in East Anglia today. Obviously, I'm from London, but yes, I'm in East Anglia today. And we just had a little technical session, tuning up some stuff, ready for some live broadcasts. And happy to be here and be here on your interview and share with the world what we have coming up and up in store for you guys.
So how has 2020 been for you so far up to this point?
Well, I suppose that is the question, really. I mean, for me, it's been challenging, but it's actually the merits of 2020 have outweighed the challenges. We've progressed in 2020 in a way that we couldn't have fathomed, and so a lot of the stuff that has reached a lot of the wider population that we're aware of, we actually are directly involved with trying to impact on that stuff with the project and the business that we're in.
And can you tell us a bit more about the project and the business and the industry that you are trying to develop and work your way into?
Okay, yeah, of course. So at the moment, well, I fundraise as part of my role. I fundraise for like companies and projects that I feel are warranted and that need doing. So at the moment, we're dealing with a wide range of stuff. So it goes from culture to environmental to import export to all kinds of stuff that all kind of marry up in the whole scheme of things. So what it is, we have a social enterprise as one of our projects named Planet Over Profit.
That was Planet Over Profit.
Yes, we're new. We're kind of trying to change the narrative with all the 2020 kind of vibe and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of offering in a developing nation, so we're in Africa. We're in more than one country in Africa, and we've been there throughout this 2020. We've been there throughout 2019, and we're trying to establish our missions and build up our departments over in our company. We have a UK company and a company in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Work together.
Mm-hmm.
So in between this, a lot because of the 2020 impact of what they're calling the virus or the pandemic, a lot of people don't have jobs to go back to Africa.
Major killer.
What happens is a lot of the tourist kind of based incomes, no one to rely on, you see, and we as our social enterprise, we see that and we will take it on ourselves to buy those people's products and put them into the Western market, give them some kind of exposure, and also take the proceeds of that and with 100% transparency go back to that area and clean the environment in order to prepare the way so we can eventually, with a view of building waste management plants, roads, hospitals, clinics, that kind of stuff. And we've already actually, we have our fingers in some exciting pies to do with clinics, waste management already, and the CEO for the company that I in Africa represent as a fundraiser. He is a civil engineer by trade, gave up his six-figure salary at 35 years old and went to study for 5 years. To him,
yeah.
These are the kind of people that we need to keep as strong influencers and people that can guide us through. Big up Quentin Bishop, the pioneer, and he's about to change the world right now. Trust me.
Amazing. Thank you.
Planet Over Profit. I mean, you guys need to look at that, man. There's a website out there, clues in the title, www.planetoverprofit.org.uk. So yeah, that you go to that, and we've even got an online store over there where you can get artifacts, original artifacts, even stamped from the Ministry of Culture.
Major killer.
And you can get them through us directly from the people that make them, and the proceeds go right back into that environment. Plus, we're creating work for the people that haven't got any toys.
And you touched on what was it? You touched on some of the products that you have, and the fact that the proceeds go back to the country that you're trying to help develop. But what is the difference between a charity and a social enterprise?
Well, you see, a lot of people do confuse the two. Now, whilst the charity often funds their good work through donations and fundraising, social enterprise offering sell products or services in order to reinvest them. And that's where we kind of have a niche.
Major killer.
You know, I'm trying to sell you this with the guarantee, as it's 100% transparent, that we will be taking this money and then we will give you either a live feed of the actual cleanup. So if you was to go to some of my social media, we've been cleaning, well, let's put it this way, on the 25th of January, which is the capital of where we are, that's the city's the day of the capital day. So say if it was London, it would be London Day. So we cleaned a beach. It took 3,000 litres of dense litter from that beach in one.
Wow.
And we employed all the locals to do it, gave them food, gave them water, gave them pay. It's dangerous for the children to give pay because a lot of them are exploited and can be easily robbed. So that you have to be really careful, buy them rice and buy them some food, and they can eat while they're there. But the point I'm getting at is that was January 2020, and we were already giving masks and gloves to these people. So we didn't need a pandemic to come in and tell us that this is a hazardous situation. When that's in the whole of the country, and the country is twice the size of France, so it's not small. So when that's in the whole of the country, it's like it's such an issue that only someone who is selfless and someone who can come in with a pure plan to say we want to give 60 to 80 years worth of work to these people so they can come out of what they've just come through, and we can do our bit as well to grow as a company and then put our capital into reinvesting into the communities that are dying out, you know, and that's where our passion is with Planet Over Profit.
And that's amazing. And a lot of people do look to Africa when they think of, you know, healing the world and changing different elements of the world. Africa seems to be like the mining pot of the world, basically. They've been left with nothing. But what about the local communities and the local sort of councils and boroughs that are struggling and that are also deprived?
Are you talking in the UK? Are you talking in London?
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, this is close to my heart. It's passionate. There's a lot of people like United Borders, a dear friend of mine, Justin, who they do so much work other than what maybe people know them for. A lot of people that are unrecognised for the work that they put in. And what irks me is that, you know, take nothing away from the 99-year-old man that walked down his garden path and got £37 million donated to him. Yeah, but big and serious, the NHS can't see a penny of that because the NHS are a charity, and they can't go and claim any of that money. So I'd like to know what they do with funds like that instead of allocating them to places that they can that can see that are deprived and they can see are in lower income. Is it because they simply don't want to, or they don't want the uprising? My thing about it is, if all of a sudden let's say in 2019, you couldn't find any money to give the NHS, but then in 2020 there's a pandemic, you start printing money like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah.
That tells me that your ethics are all out of whack.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be trusting you to lead me anywhere. Path, let alone a country. So that's where I am. I think that it needs to be addressed by an independent kind of somebody who is looking without gaining, and then there's progress. Now, it doesn't happen in this society because a lot of people are about want and desire, not more about need and compassion,
Yeah.
but understanding of actually the whole, you know,
The big picture.
there's people that are really, there's people that are really ignorant, and there are people that really don't want to know. But when you start talking the truth, that kind of has it doesn't have the desired effect sometimes.
It never does, no.
Major
It
killer.
never does have the desired effects. People don't want to know the truth. It is a hard pill to swallow.
If I'm honest, yeah, I don't know why my power just went out.
A few moments later.
So yeah, talking about the London boroughs and how it's affected, how has it affected you in terms of how you're promoting this to the westernized society to make them give a toss about what you're doing? Because most of the time people don't care.
That's a really good question, you know. If I'm honest, it's been really challenging. Um, I've been in front of people like Focus on Africa, the BBC. They told me it was too big for them. Told me that I should speak to Newsday, which I spoke with, and they said they wanted to do a TV interview with me, but what they wanted to do more than come and see what we were doing was kind of more than infiltrate and get a story of it, yes, but after the story's been run, it's kind of what are you really doing? Because if the team that's in Africa with me and what we're doing just as individuals, if we've accomplished that, how come as governments or as corporate, you can't accomplish anywhere near what we've done
I
in
just
just
really want to pull up on the word that you said there is individuals, because I feel like as individuals, people want to see this whole big picture change. They want to see society change. They want to see the hungry fed and the poor looked after in general. People will sit in their homes
yes.
and generally think these things. They want world peace and all of that. But what do you think people need to be doing as individuals to make this happen as a collective?
I feel that unity needs to be paramount. I feel that compassion and wisdom and understanding of people's cultures, of the different because look, I know many people of my generation and the generations that came before me that worked so hard to build up a country that when they vote as a democracy, they don't even listen to them. When they ready to challenge or something, it's like you are an individual. You're not coming to us as a court. So unless you get X amount of signatures or something, like, we're not even entertaining you.
Yeah.
That's not right. When you're taking what do they call it, the tax, what do they call that tax where it's only on residential? Because that's why so much residential is flying up, because they can't get that council tax, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the council tax from them, but they can't get it with businesses. That's why you don't see a lot of businesses. You see more residential because they get the council tax and they get the votes. Yeah, now me, I haven't voted since I was eligible to vote. I've never voted.
I'm
'cause
also
I've
never
not
voted on the Ranga Nation. I was never voted.
Yeah, no, because I don't agree with the puppets that they got. Sorry, the puppets that they've got. They're doing the work allegedly for us on the. But I see that a lot of people that are in those roles that do the work don't get the acknowledgement, and the people that are seemingly doing their job, they kind of go with it. They kind of give it to them, and I could have thrown a stone and picked a better guy to run the country,
Is there
especially
anything that
after
you think they are doing right, though? Is there anything that they are doing right?
you know what? Because of this pandemic, they're listening. That's one thing. So that's a huge, huge thing that they weren't doing, that they're now doing. But it's because their lifestyles and their incomes are at stake and their pensions. And because of this, like basically, people they kind of get really selfish, and then they start looking out, and they start looking outwards like, oh, how can this benefit me? Not how can we put our heads together and get through this, but how is this beneficial to me? Because we had that a lot. when I went into places like in Westbourne Studios in Westbourne Park, when I went in Ladbroke Grove, when I went to certain places, and the people were shunning me and asking me, their first question out of their mouth is, "How are you making money?" And I'm trying to explain to these people, the CEO ain't taking a paycheck for 6 years. Yeah. And you lot are taking us about making money. We're not trying to make money. We're trying to build a foundation and lay a cornerstone.
Yeah.
You see, from we can do that, then that, that's fine and dandy. But we were trying to reach out, to ask people in positions that we were cleaning outside their building, like Total and BP. We're cleaning outside their corporate offices where there's 2 foot of litter. And when you look in the wrappers, the African people there that are there can't afford them. It's like £3.50 for a Snickers bar. That's not poor people throwing that on the floor, right? And I can tell you, fact, a lot of the Westerners that work there, they ain't buying that stuff from the supermarket and the local. They're importing that, and those wrappers are getting discarded and things. So they're importing litter, right? And half the stuff that wash up on the ocean don't even sell on the continent of Africa. It does me. It does me. So rather than wait, I'd rather as an individual get with another individual and we individually pick out this thing.
So what are
Because
Major
no one's
Keeler.
gonna do it.
what are the if you said 5 things that Africa needs the most, what would the 5 things be?
That Africa needs the most. Africa's got everything it needs.
I mean, in terms
You
of
know what?
sanitation and water systems and
Oh, well, if that's the case, now you're talking the language of what we're actually doing over there. We're actually, as a long term, trying to produce smart infrastructure for Africa. And I mean Africa as a continent. So we're into and got dealings with more than a few countries in Africa. So we're aware of what they need.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that with effective immediately, people should be looking at waste management plants, looking at clearing the waterways, cleaning the environment, and basically from there looking at, well, even in tandem, looking at clinics, building clinics, getting people involved that actually are minded the same as we, but have the capital investment to back it, you see? And then right now, I am not going to reveal too much, but there are many people that are looking at what we're doing and have taken it to the next level. So we're poised, and with the Brexit, the oncoming inevitable exit from the EU, and the fair trade in Africa from the 1st of January 2021, our future, and leading from your question is, how was 2020 from us? Our future and 2020 has been a learning curve, and also very, very productive in the fact that we have seen growth in places that you couldn't fathom, like 35-year-old women learning English and learning maths and basic literacy. So these things you can't put you can't coin that phrase. You have to see it. The CEO is out there on the ground, and he's been dishing out water to kids. And people been rummaging through the bins on a daily basis and organized. It's a way of life. A poor person doesn't know they're poor until they see a rich person. You see, and as I said, changing the narrative is important to us. Ethics and leading by example. It's not like do as I say, not as I do. So we're trying to lead by example and change the narrative and show that, well, look, Africa is the wealthiest continent.
Bless up.
I can tell you that there's so much potential now going forward in Africa that I don't really see anywhere else.
So in
So
terms
that's my
of
personal opinion.
what they
So
need, you're saying sanitation, waste management, education,
most certainly hospitals.
hospital.
Hospitals. They need a sound agricultural kind of logistics kind of. Look, it's kind of this is how I'm gonna use a metaphor here, and it's a good one because it's to do with Africa. Now, a lot of people, when they portray Africa in the West, some of it's portrayed as mud huts and elephants and stuff. And if you knew how built up some of Africa really is and how rural some of the rural parts are, now people who are invested in the country from the heart, in the continent, I mean, whatever country you're in, you have to see that if you can get the people educated in the fact that we're in a different world, and it can be beneficial to them to maybe, not have to live how they were living, under oppression and under being ripped off and stuff like that. That's one thing. Now it depends where you are in Africa, but I'm particularly talking about where we are, and
Where are you?
I'm looking at.
Whereabouts are you in Africa?
We're in Ethiopia and we're in Angola.
Hmm.
And we, as I said, we have dealings in other countries as well, so we get to see a lot of what's going on. But what's happening is, people are only now becoming aware, and some digital and what's going on in the world. A lot of people in Angola don't know that there's a pandemic,
Right.
and Angola's been shut off since March. So now, to see th- things in your face is one thing, then to hear about them. So the portrayal is one thing, but if you know how much talent is out there and how much needs to be done, I'm going to say that yes, there needs to be a training and education system that can be stretched out, the region, and a lot of people will benefit from a lot of the things that the Western world take for granted in Africa.
Just
Um,
if you could personally pin down one point in the African history where it really set their demise or set them, stopped them from progressing at a certain point, because obviously there was
yeah,
a glass ceiling, as it, that was put over Africa that stopped them. Where would you put that?
400 years ago,
Hmm.
that's where I'd put it, because that's when uh, a man and a man with the same blood came from the same place, of the same, I'm going to say of the same race. And when I say that, I mean like you're not an alien. So at the end of the day, that's when one man was treated different from another man. And that is where it started. No matter if it started with, it doesn't matter how it started, because I don't know how it started, but I'd say that's where it started.
Hmm.
And that's where I'd put it. Yeah, that would be where I'd put it, because everything it's a seed. It's like a huge oak tree grows from a little acorn. So it's the seed. The seed was planted, and I've heard people talk derogatory. I mean, away, and with the pigment on my skin, I'll hear some outlandish crap, and I mean like I don't watch the news or nothing, but so on my social media, because this social media is more a work thing. I don't really use it to socialize,
Hmm.
but I see a lot of on my feed coming up, and some of that outlandish stuff that I see, I can't actually believe that we're living. I got children, yeah. I can't believe that we're living in this world. Like
Yeah.
my kids are big in that, but at the same time, I'm trying to say that like the teachings. You have to get the teachings right, you know. Once the teachings are right, then they have to you have to maintain it. It's like having money. Getting money in a vast sum is one thing. Maintaining it is something else. So when people are gonna either skim off the top or not allocate the funds where they're supposed to go, there's a ripple effect. There's a knock-on effect of that.
Hmm.
So this is the same thing in what you're referring to. It's like, yeah, it didn't happen 5 decades ago,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, the 60s there was a revolt, and 66. Like, look, what I'm saying is, it didn't start there.
No.
Look at the 20s. Look at the 20s. Look at the 30s. Look at the 40s and the 50s. You can't say it started 400 plus years ago.
Hmm.
So like, that's where I'm at
And just
as
to
a
touch on
Caucasian. That's where I'm at.
just to touch on something that is quite touching, because obviously vaccinations have been sent out into Africa and have done amazing things in healing and sort of, you know, like some diseases that have been out there. What do you think about the vaccinations that are now coming in that are going to be now tested worldwide?
I don't know enough about it to comment, but I will say this. It depends on your perspective, because I saw a little something with Bill Gates, and yeah, I saw him shifty in his chair, and I saw that. The thing is, you look, personally, how I feel about it is, um, to put something in your body that you don't know what it is has been happening to the Western world since they started making Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So yeah, before then possibly, but at least till then. So what I'm saying is this: look, people already be putting stuff in their body they don't know what it is,
Yeah.
right? And this is just another form of that. When they in London and in the UK, wherever they did it, when they injected in the left arm, the BCG injection,
Mm-hmm.
no one knew what that was, what was in it.
No.
They tell you, but what's in it? Now, if I'm ingesting or injecting that, aren't I supposed to know 100% chemical breakdown of what's in that?
Yeah.
Why did they put ingredients on the back of your food and drink? They're telling you that's a liability thing. That's like, well, wait. We told you it's there. Look, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like this thing with they pass laws and they say, well, no one ever opposed the law. Well, look, if it's something that is so important and is imperative to the point where it's going to affect someone's human rights or any rights, then what it is like you got to make regular advertisements and make people aware of the fact that this is gonna be apparent, this is gonna come around, and like if you don't, then you're contributing to masking it off, and you're not actually telling. So you're doing this on purpose. You're doing this on purpose, like like you're aware that you're not telling people.
Right.
You're aware that no one's going to oppose it. So it's like you're setting people up to fail. And like this is the general consensus. This is how it has been. So it doesn't with the vaccine now, because people have lost people and a lot of impact has happened through since this was raised. People are now Some people are now looking for an antidote, a vaccine.
Yeah.
So what are they going to deliver them is what they're looking. So the foremost thing is that like people are gonna not accept it. That's gonna happen, and there are people that are gonna have to make a decision whether they trust the source. And I'm hearing even they're trying to say that you ain't even got a choice in the matter.
Mm.
And they're going to end up stopping money and stopping stuff and saying, yeah, so this is the sanction people, whatever they call it. So that is something that it's gonna manifest, and this is just they've popped the can of worms now,
Yeah.
and they've never really approached this properly. I mean, I've got qualifications and stuff. I could tell you about biohazard and stuff like that. This has not been done properly.
Mm.
Yeah, so you're sending children to school and they're coming home, but they can't mix with the very families of the children they went to school with.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No.
Because if your child's infected and he infects the mother or the father, as it were, of that household, then that other household is already infected because the child has gone there
Exactly.
from school.
I mean,
So
we could
it
obviously just go into so much about this, and we would literally be here all day. But
be
with
here all the
everything that is going on and what people in the Western society are having to deal with, the restrictions and the family and the, not knowing why they can't see certain family and friends, how would you like to sort of spread awareness to them to just make them think about what you're doing outside of the Western society and what needs to be done in the third world countries to sort of balance out, what's going on in general in the world.
sorry, you mean how would I reach out to them?
Yeah, so what do you want to say to the sort of Western society whilst they're in
Hmm.
this pandemic to sort of still broaden their thinking to outside of what's going on in the third world countries?
Well, as I said, when you said, "Is there one thing?" And I said to you that the one thing is that people have started to listen
Hmm.
because of this pandemic. Now, that has brought with it goodness and it's brought with it negativity as well. Putting people in a household where they're at risk or in a dangerous environment is the downside to this. The upside to it being people have started to cook more. When McDonald's was closed, I see people barling, but they learned where their pot was and they learned how to turn on their cooker.
Hmm.
Right. So the thing is, people got creative. Yeah, there was a unity of such, and even throughout communities who, even neighbors who never spoke with each other.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is wonders and signs. You have to wonder about these signs because the thing is, yeah, like look, God don't sleep, and like if the amount of how long they've been draining Mother Earth of these resources, natural resources, and that, you really think as a creator, what a creator is going to stand by and see that happen? No, you're going to see sufferation, yes. You're going to see death, yes. But you're also trying to make a learning curve from the challenges and what I've encountered death. I've lost my partner. I've lost my pops. I've encountered a lot of death, a lot of family, a lot of friends, and very recently too, also pertaining to this. But I didn't want to make this about me or anything in particular. It's more about if I could speak to those people in the West through here, I would let people know that there's work out here to be done, yo.
Hmm.
It's in your own household, it's in your own community, it's on your own road.
So, what are your plans for 2021? And what do you want to let people know before we go?
Right. Well, yeah, as I was saying, I'd like for people to realize that this is stuff that's going on in their own community, and that worldwide we're dealing with worldwide, but we're also dealing with the UK. I'm also dealing with London and the UK because I'm here dealing with this side, and my team's over in Africa dealing with that side. So I'd like to for 2021, I'd like to basically implement the stuff that we've been building over these last years and months, going over towards the e-commerce side of value of things because people are behind their house more, engaging with people on a consultation level to give them awareness of what's actually going on and how they can get involved. So websites like the website I gave earlier on, the Planet Over Profit website, that's one way to get information as to stuff that will be going on. Like soon we'll be having some apps that will be creating to change the way people do things. We'll be importing stuff. I'll have fresh flowers from Kenya next week. I'll have that regular basis. We're looking at the whole of Africa. So with the trade in 2021, we'll be looking at bringing stuff from different parts of Africa over to the West. And when I'm involved and at Planet Over Profit, we're going to be using that money, the proceeds of which will be going back to deal with projects as well as environmental, be sustainability projects and stuff that is actually that we've seen that's needed, and that because the client is the governments are actually our client, so the client will tell us what's needed and we will implement it, create the jobs and get the stuff, get it done to UK specifications and UK regulations in Africa, which is almost unheard of.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's my 2021. From now until Valentine's Day. Obviously, I'm gonna have some flowers as well. So anyone wants flowers for Valentine's Day, you know where to come. And the proceeds are going to a good cause. They will go to helping the environment back in Africa. So this is something that we'll be doing for the people that don't have the sales on that side of the world. And this is what I'm trying to bring to people over here. Yeah, you're 80% furloughed. Ain't no furlough over there. So if you carve this for a living, or you carve this for a living, then you ain't got no one to sell it to. What's gonna happen to your business? How are you gonna eat? And I'm gonna tell you the average wage is like $2 a day, US. That's the average wage for a grown woman or man. So like when people start with their complaints or tell me their hat don't match their shoes or something, then you know I'm in a different realm. I'm trying to say, please, that Guinness in your hand is paying someone's wages and more for a day. So please, so 2021 for me is building awareness, creating unity. Actually, I had where's my dance? So this was a dance. Zilla's actually on. Oh, look. So look here on this dance. I was called Unity Planet Over Profit Unity and Awareness. I don't know. You can see that here. You can't really. But this dance was created. It's a fundraiser actually. It's a fundraiser um for the Planet Over Profit project. But because of coronavirus, it was closed down um the day before the day before it was due to, yeah. So you know, things happen and you learn
Yep.
from stuff as well, because people expose it, they reveal their true colors as well after that. So sometimes it's good that you don't always take the path of least resistance. That's not always the best way. So I'm trying to change the narrative and go along with people who are like-minded to take the world into the next level of where we found ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message. Like, I think for the Western world, we have the daily option to be selfish or to serve, and you know, if we serve ourselves, you know, we're going to run this world into the ground. So I think it's a really important message that we start to serve each other, to start serving our communities, and to, you know, give up a Guinness or a beer, you know, just once a week.
Truly,
And
truly.
you can check out all the merchandise on Planet Over Profit. And yeah, buy something from them and make a difference to someone's life in Africa.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
so
Respect
much
for
for
that,
your
man.
time.
Yeah, man. God bless you, man. Thank you for having me, and hopefully that we'll catch up at a later date and update you on our progress.
So obviously this is for our Armageddon playlist, which is on Firestar FM. Do you have an Armageddon song that you would like to request?
Um, okay. Yes, I think I do. Um,
And can it be a song of my choice?
Yeah, any song of your choice.
All right. We'll go with Grandma Africa, Aya Carell.
Oh, lovely. That's coming up next.
God bless you.